Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Hey, difference maker. If you were here for the Q&A, I made the announcement that I have a little pet project of mine where for the podcast, everybody's going to be following me along to see if I am victorious or if I horribly flop on my face, trying to revive a dormant Facebook group that I have inadvertently neglected for a year and would love to be able to serve better in this community and increase the engagement. So for the next couple of weeks, I've got lots of interviews that are scheduled out. Please like and share the group with your friends so that they can get these really great speakers that are coming in that are experts in their fields and are here to serve you and bring you value and help you and encourage you on your journey as you not only discover yourself and increase your personal growth, but also your business growth as well. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Let's go ahead and get started. It's time to stop comparing yourself to others and plug into what is uniquely you. Welcome to Unbox Your Personality, the podcast for coaches, creatives, and educators like you who understand that your happiness makes you more effective at what you do, bringing out the best in others. I'm Jen P. Higgins, personality strategist and Enneagram fluff remover. Get laser focused on who you are and who you aren't, so you're free to make the impact you were born to make. And have fun doing it. Your personality is your business. So let's get down to business. I'm so happy to introduce Ana Katz. She is a marketing strategist. She's based in New York. She has her own digital marketing agency. And welcome, Ana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to finally be here.
All right. So, Ana, why don't you just tell everybody just a little bit about who you are, what you love, and how you got started?
Yes. So I live in New York. I'm a mom of two, a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And if you can hear my accent, I'm from Colombia, South America. But I've been living in the United States. It's going to be almost 13 years. So I've had my agency for around 3 years, and I specialize on Facebook and Instagram ads and digital marketing strategy for online business owners.
And what really pulled you to serve in that way?
That's a great question. It's a long story, but I'm going to try to make it short. So I was the head of digital marketing and analytics for a medium-sized fashion company in New York, a job that I loved. But I knew that I could make the impact that I was helping them build. They were growing a lot with my help and my team's help. And I knew I could help more people the way I was helping them. And I could make more money. So after I had my son, I was craving the freedom. And I found one day sitting on my desk on my corporate job and being like, there's gotta be more than this, more than being on a desk for 9, 10 hours a day and then going home to feed my son and then go to bed. And then the next day start all over again. So it was about not only wanting to serve more, but also to have that freedom to be home whenever I wanted or to travel to visit my family in Colombia whenever I wanted. So that's how I started my agency.
I love that. It's very similar to my story of just like, man, there's got to be more to life than, just same old. I just need a little bit of variety sometimes or something to look forward to. And I don't know about for you, but for me, a little bit of control over my destiny.
Yes. Yes. Control our path,
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm like, with where I was at, there was nobody above me. So my team was learning from me and I didn't have anybody else to learn from.
Mm.
And then, so I was like, I had like hit this ceiling when I'm like, if I go on my own, I could like grow so much more and own my own, like carve out my own path. As opposed to if I stayed at my corporate job, which again, I loved. And after I quit my job there to go on my own, they were my first client. They hired my agency. Yeah, because we had such a good relationship.
That's so great. That's so great. And I think just your story alone is going to encourage a lot of people that are in this group who are very new to business and aren't sure, maybe even on the fence of like, is this even for me? It's the possibilities of when you work for yourself, when you are an entrepreneur. Yes, it's hard. It can be so hard at times, but it can be so worth it too when you have that goal and when you understand what motivates you, then you can apply that to push you forward and to keep you going. And we were talking about accountability earlier. Oh my gosh, don't we need coaches?
Yes.
We need coaches.
Yes, in every area. Especially, I found that one of the hardest things to go from like an employee to an entrepreneur is that when you're an employee, you have somebody to report to. You have somebody who's like, oh, I gotta meet my goals because if I don't, I'm gonna get in trouble. When you go on your own, it's like you're your own boss. So you're reporting to yourself. And sometimes that's hard. So that's why we need coaches. I always had a coach because you need somebody else's help to keep you accountable and to keep a fire under your butt with your goals.
Yeah. And I know that, just from my experience with working with you, like you held me accountable so much. There's no way I would have gotten through my very first ads campaign without your support. And you were so helpful and you were there and you were great at follow up and just encouraging me and saying, hey, tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening.
And yeah, that's a big portion of, we're talking before we started that a big portion of running Facebook ads is mindset.
Yeah.
It's not just the strategy, but it's the mindset to keep testing and keep going until you get the results. That's a very important part of the business, the mindset, the accountability.
I know what it was for me, but I'm curious, just based off of other clients that you've had other than mindset. What has been the most important thing that they needed to understand before they were ready to start running ads?
So the most important thing is, somebody's going to be surprised by this. You have to have a proven offer. Many people think like, oh, I'm going to run ads and see if it converts and see if my lead magnet works. No, if you do that, you're just going to waste your money because then you're going to wonder if what's not working is the lead magnet or the ad or what's not working is Facebook. So I always recommend, and we did this together. I said, Jan, if you don't have a proven offer, don't run the ad. Because once you know if what you want to promote on Facebook ads, once you know that converts, Facebook ads is about scaling. It's about getting into a much broader audience. And people don't think they have an audience, but if you have like 100 people on Instagram, you have an audience. Or there's so many good free Facebook groups. You have an amazing free Facebook group that you offer. Go and post your lead magnet there or ask for feedback. Or there's a lot of groups that let you share valuable content. So go and prove your offer first and then run ads. That's the number one thing that people need to have in order to run ads, have an offer that converts.
That is such good advice. And it's definitely advice that I tell my clients too. Well, you might not be ready for ads. And I learned that from you. And so you've helped me even in my business just to be able to really, if I think about it, kind of prep them for you. Like say, okay, not ready yet. Let's really prove this offer. Let's validate it. So many times I heard you say that.
Yes. And then another thing, which is the other side of it, there's so many people that are ready for ads that they want to keep testing and testing and testing, but the thing is working and they're just afraid to scale it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that mindset that we were talking about. It's like Facebook ads. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I don't know if it's going to work. But if your offer is converting, you're ready for ads.
Yes. That's kind of a fear of failure.
Yes.
A fear of failure, of getting too big for our britches. So I love that. I love that you kind of showed both sides of the coin. Like, if this is happening, then yeah, you are ready to start running ads. But if not, then, let's wait. And giving them ideas, like you said, go post your freebie in your Facebook group or your email list or your Instagram followers and see how it converts. And knowing those numbers is so important, knowing your conversion numbers, because how do you know whether to pay attention to something or not?
And many times we think something that we create is so good because we think people need it, but we don't know until we test it.
Right.
It's like we think people need it, but how do we know they need it? I cannot tell you how many times I've run into things that I myself, I created it. I'm like, oh, people are going to love this. And it's like crickets because that's not what they need.
Right. And sometimes they say, like, they'll verbalize what they need, but it's not really what they need. It's just what they said. Because, so here's my expertise about personality and self-awareness is that a lot of times what we think we need is not what we need. And what I love about the Enneagram and understanding the personality is it really taps into those blind spots of getting to what our core need is to kind of give context of why we're behaving the way we're behaving. It's a whole new ballgame and it's different for everybody. Every single person is different. It might be the same behavior. We might be asking for the same kind of freebie, like, Anna, I need help on testing an audience or creating an audience on it, because that was a whole thing. I think we spent a whole week just on on my audience. It's like I kind of knew, because that's kind of my whole thing is like, if you don't know who you're serving and where they are on the path, then your messaging isn't going to come through. You're not going to convert because the message through your copy, through your images aren't going to come through. Having to sit down and do it, I was so happy to have you hold my hand going through that.
Yes.
Because I knew intellectually, but I didn't know exactly what it was that I needed.
And sometimes we're so in our business that we need somebody to help us look on it,
Yes, that is so true. For me, when I first started working with you, I remember I asked you, what's the one thing that I needed to know before I could get started? How do I know I'm ready to get started? And how much is this going to cost me?
Yes. So it depends. Everybody has that budget question. How much should my budget be for Facebook ads? So there are different ways to approach Facebook ads. You can approach Facebook ads to get more engagers on social media, to grow your email list, to sell your courses, right? So the higher the conversion, the more money you have to invest on Facebook ads, right? It's not going to cost you the same having somebody engage with your post as having somebody purchase your course or your coaching program. So if you're just getting started with Facebook ads, one thing that you can do right now is spend only $5 a day on Facebook ads and start driving your audience to your social media accounts where you are showing up. For example, let's say you consistently show up on Instagram every day, you do stories and you do a post. Go on Instagram and see which ones are your 2 most successful posts where people have engaged, have comment, and they're related to business, no personal life. And you can go on and make those posts ads. No, don't boost them because I'm a boosting button is a big no for me. that's a waste of money.
Take note of that, folks.
No, yeah. And no boosting. You can go on the back end of the ads manager and turn those posts into ads and target them to audiences that are your core audiences. And that's how you start growing your Instagram following in your engagement. If you only have that and you don't have a lead magnet yet, you're just proving your lead magnet, this is going to help you to start growing your audience on social media. You can do this with $5 a day. Now, if you have a little more money, this is where I encourage you to do your lead magnet. You can do this with, I will say, $10 to $20 a day, ideally $20. And this is where you show your lead magnet. This is your proven offer. What's a lead magnet? It's something that you give your audience in exchange for their email. All right. It could be a PDF. It could be a free video training. It could be a free course. Something that gives them really good value, that it makes it not only a no-brainer for them to give you their email, but to keep following you and to keep engaging with you. That is why it's so important that when you're running ads, you're also showing up in your social media and showing up in emails, because Facebook ad is only one part of the puzzle, but that's a whole different conversation. So that's $20 a day. And then if you're ready to scale your business, you can spend $100 to $200 a day on just for leads. If you like selling money, like, okay, I have a course that's coming up, I have a launch, which is what we did with you. And you can build your audience to have a warm audience to launch to when you're ready to sell your program or to sell your one-on-one coaching or whatever you sell. And then if you're on launch mode, then that's a whole different beast that requires more budget.
Yeah. What I learned with working with you is that I had to really practice what I preach, because I'm a business coach and
Don't we all?
and like all the stuff that you were telling me, I was like, oh gosh, I know I needed to do this. I needed to do this. And it really made me sit down and really flesh out these details of which audience I was targeting, which product I was offering, which funnel I was leading them down. And was like, you couldn't really help me until I made those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just really appreciated the authority that you gave to kind of whip me into shape a little bit.
And to keep you accountable, because I follow up and be like, Jen, do you do this? Is this ready? How's this going?
But never pushy, always precious and sweet.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to look and see if anybody has any questions so far. Anybody that's on live have questions? So my fear of doing something wrong and getting banned. Okay. You want to speak to that, Anna?
Yes. So getting banned is something that's happening a lot on Facebook after the iOS 14 changes, which is, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a privacy update that Apple implemented on all advertisers. So we cannot track people when they opt out being tracked. When this happens, you will go into any app, Facebook app, or any other social media platform, or even a clothing store that you followed, and it will ask you if you want it to be tracked. A lot of people thought that they were going to stop getting ads, which was not true. You just stop getting ads from the people, from the companies you like. So the ads that you get served aren't as valuable to you. But this caused for Facebook to be more strict on what we write in our app and what we post and all these things that violate their privacy policies. And this is an evolving process. It's always changing. It's always been like this with Facebook. One thing that you need to do, which is super easy, is just going to Facebook. They have a page for the privacy policy, and they'll tell you what you can do and what you cannot do, and you're safe. As long as you're following what they're telling you, there's no reason to be afraid about. Sometimes they shut down accounts by mistake, which has happened to me for no reason. But all you have to do is you just contact the live chat, let them know what happened, and they put that request into a review within 48 hours. Sometimes it takes a little longer. You'll get your account back. But as long as you're playing with Facebook's rules, there is no reason you should be afraid of it.
Yeah, I didn't think I was afraid of that until now. I was like, oh, wait, I could have gotten banned. Well, I didn't. So yay.
As long as you're following their privacy policy, there is no reason you will get banned.
I have no problem with rules. I just want to be sure I understand them.
Yeah.
tell people where they can find you, what your handle is on Instagram and website or whatever it is that you want to share.
Yeah, so I'm consistently sharing blogs on how to properly run ads on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to go and check out my blogs and want to learn more about Facebook ads, if you're not ready to hire an ads manager or a coach yet, you can go on my website, it's anakatzdigital.com, and you can go to the blog section and all the really good information is there, from how to start your first Instagram ad to how to build your audiences and scale your campaigns. If you want to come play and chat with me, I'm mostly on Instagram at anakatzdigital.com. I'm always going live, doing stories, and sharing really good tips on not only Facebook ads, but digital marketing.
If you have a question, just go ahead and connect with her. And I will put that link in the comments so it'll be really easy for them to find you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, subscribing, and reviewing the Unbox Your Personality podcast. To learn more about yourself, go to powercoachjen.com. Find out how you are different so you can make your difference.